Welcome once again to another All the Mods episode by your host, Comfy Socks. And we've got a couple chores that we gotta do today. Last episode we gathered every type of overworld, nether, and end bee that we can get our grubby little mitts on, as well as all the fishing bees. And this episode, I'd like to start using them for something. We also made this cobblestone generator that makes iron ingots. Straight from copper, and it's still filling up. I left this running while I was editing last episode. We're at 255 right now, which isn't a whole lot. It was kind of plugged up. I made an oopsie, but it's fixed now. It's fixed. Well, let's talk a little bit what I want to do with this episode. We're going to head upstairs where it's less noisy. And here's our goal list for today. Do a little spin. We need a bone meal farm, we need copper bees, and we need to start getting into bee genetics. The iron farm that we made last episode is definitely going to help with a lot of this. I don't want to spend too much time on each of these individually, but I'll go over them real quick on why we want to do each one of them. The bone meal farm, we need lots and lots of flowers. It's the main way you breed bees. You also use it to grow them up and do a lot of other things with bees. So we're going to need a pretty strong source of bone meal so we can get a lot of flowers. Second off, I want copper bees. I'm running real low on copper and I don't want to go mining. So that's probably a pretty good source of it. And I can't find another way to get copper in the world. There's not really a whole lot of options here for us. Basically, the only ways are you have to crush certain types of blocks that are non-renewable, and by non-renewable I mean they're only renewable with bees. We can crush iridium or tuff in order to get lots of copper if we really wanted to, but both of these require bees, so we're kind of gated by bees to do anything for copper anyway, and the only other way is to craft with copper essence in mystical agriculture. So basically what I'm saying is we can't really get around going for bees or mystical agriculture, so we might as well get some sort of production going for them. And the last thing is just bee genetics to upgrade our bees. So we're going to start right at the top with the bone meal, and we can get this a variety of ways. I'll save you the hassle of me scrolling through the book a whole lot. Basically our options are to compost flowers, have a mob that drops bone meal or something that can craft it into bone meal, or we can use bees in order to generate the bone meal itself. We could also use mystical agriculture to get a lot of the skeleton essence and make bones. But mystical agriculture is kind of a pain and I like bees more, so we're going to use bees. So if you take a look here, this skeletal comb is produced by the skeletal bee, and this directly centrifuge makes bone meal at a 75% chance. And the way that you get this bee is you have to have an empty advanced hive and leave it in the dark. And then skeletal bees and zombies will just kind of migrate into it over time. Since it takes a while for that to happen, let's go set that up right now. And we can go do other things while we're waiting. And so I've made about 20-ish advanced oak beehives with the oak expansions on the top. And if I just don't sleep through the night for a while, we should get tons and tons of these bees flying in through here over time. My base is well lit up enough. Just plop down a few safety torches. You know. While we're waiting for that, I want to start looking into bee genetics, because we have a couple of them that we need to get. And this ranges from making them more productive, making them work in all weather conditions, making them work during day and night, and some of them will want to kill you on site, so we'll need to make them not want to kill us on site, if possible. If we look on the productivity page in the bee handbook, the highest one is very high. These glowing bees have a naturally high. We need one better. Oh, I have a child neon cocoa bee? Oh, that explains why one of them was so small. Why does the child have stats, but the adult doesn't? Very weird. Oh, it's because it's in a bee cage. I'm a fool. Remember I said a while ago that we were going to need these beehives? That's because there's a very special type of bee that you need a very special type of piece of equipment in order to make. And by make, I mean spawn out of your head. This might be perfect. A bunch of zombies came in, so I have the helmet equipped. And we have a 30% chance to spawn the kamikaze bee at any point I get attacked. He's not very accurate, is he? Ooh, he spawned one. There he is, there he is. I just gotta get him before he dies. And I missed. Oh no, he's coming in! No, don't die. Don't die! He died. We probably want to use hitboxes for this. Ooh, he spawned one. There he is, there he is.
Where'd he go?
Oh, he ran over here. Come here, come here, come here. Oh, we got him. And that is... Oh, wow, we already got the skeletal bees? Look at that. Now that's what I'm talking about. We got more? I hear more. Oh, skeletal bee? Hold on, let me turn that 3B off. Yeah, we got a bunch of them. Oh, there's another zombie. We could always use a few more, so I'm going to leave that AFK a little bit more. But if you look at the kamikaze bee that we just got, the stats on it, productivity is very high. If memory serves me right, I'm going to need about 3 to 4 of the kamikaze bees per bee that I want to put the very high trait on. This getup is looking fantastic. We only need 2 bees with the very high traits, and then we can start breeding them and just keep that gene on everybody. But we need 2 bees to start with the very high trait. So I'm probably looking at getting 8 kamikazes. So I couldn't help but be a little curious what happens if I fill a dispenser with snowballs and just attack myself. Oh, I can't take damage. Oh, the description does only say when I'm hit. So does it matter what I'm hit by? Oh, that needs to grow. Okay, what about now? Let me go at 5 so I can see a little better. This is very disorienting. I'm not seeing anything. I guess it only counts when you're hit by a mob. Okay, one more. I'm gonna check arrows. Yes, maybe? Ow. Ow. I'm not seeing any bees. Well, this thing doesn't have unlimited durability, so I'm not going to do any more testing like that. I'm going to do the tried and true method. Ooh, God. Ooh. No, don't die on him! Don't die, don't die, don't die. Come on, you. Oh, got one. What? There's 2 of them in the... Oh. If it's a melee guy, they just die instantly. It has to be a ranged guy. Oh. There we go. That guy was just floating around outside. Okay. I guess they are still capable of pollinating. Oh. Hello? Nice, that's number 4. There's always skeletons in the mines we can go to. Oh, no, he died. And you're the last one, number 8. Oh, get in the ball. Get in the cage. There we go. We're just going to put all those in there for now. For the next statistic, which is weather tolerance, we already have 2 bees that can tolerate any weather. And for the endurance statistic, these prismarine bees are already strong. And it looks like these sugar bag bees are passive, which is probably what we want as well. I'm going to put this hat in here for now. Make sure it doesn't break. The last statistic is the behavior. You can get 3 types, diurnal, nocturnal, and metaurnal. Diurnal and nocturnal are the only ones you can get from the random bees. As far as I know, metaurnal, you have to transform a bee to have metaurnal. We're going to get a bee that has all the other best characteristics on it, and then we're going to make it metaurnal. I also captured 2 zombies and 2 skeletal bees, just to make sure we got them. For this next part, we're going to need a bunch of flowers. The honey treat and a couple other expensive ingredients gets us the upgrade base. The upgrade base, a couple flowers, and honeycomb blocks gets us this baby upgrade. A bunch of iron, the Bobby upgrade, and a rosebus. Has to be a rosebus, but that'll get you the breeding chamber. And for right now, I'm going to make this outdoor area here our little bee setup. If you go into the breeding chamber, bam, you get 2 slots for bees. It'll tell you what you're making, and then you put the bee cage right here, and then it'll produce the bee in the cage right here. So we want more prismarine bees because they have a high weather tolerance and they have strong endurance. So if I put both of those in there, because they're both the same type of bee, it's going to make a prismarine bee out. You provided a little bit of power, and eventually it'll just make this bee, put it in the cage, and you can pick it up. So I need to make a little source of power. And Productive Bees has this thing called a honey generator, and since we're going to be making a lot of honey anyway, I feel like it only makes sense to use a honey generator and give it a test. This is the first time that we're actually using this machine, but I just tossed in a honey block, and if I heat this... Awesome, and it has 1 bucket worth of honey in there. So I can scoop that out with a bucket, and then that with a furnace and some iron gets us the honey generator. Apparently I can also just throw bottles on the item drain. Oh yeah, look at that. And it's being sent up there. Does it need to be sent somewhere? Is that it? Oh, I need to pick up every individual one, I see. What? That's not what you were supposed to do. Oh no. Well, it works, but it is a little annoying. I guess I should put a space in here. If I put this generator right next to here, it shouldn't matter. It should just be sending power to this. Awesome. And we're going to need some flowers there and some flowers there. And over time, we should see these hearts fill up. Okay, awesome. How much power does this use per tick? Is this going to be able to keep up? I don't think we're going to run out of honey anytime soon. Even without the bottles, we can turn these honeycombs into honey itself by using the heated centrifuge. Oh, and you can just put glass bottles in there by itself. That I did not know. It's weird that honey out of here is clear. That's very strange. The Productive Bees honey is the same color as the bucket. Wonder why that is. And after a little bit of time, we finally got our prismarine bee, and this guy is a child. But he does still have the weather tolerance and endurance of his parents. Now, if I just place these guys out here like this, can I just breed the adults as is? Oh, you hit me. Why? Oh, I didn't know you'd do that. Well, after they stung me, they did produce another child. Unfortunately, because this one stung me, it's dying. I forgot they retained aggro on you after you fish them up and put them in a cage. You release them from the cage and they're still very, very angry. Now, we could make this babby incubator, and that will raise the children to adult all within a machine. We won't have to have them out on the overworld, but we could just have them out on the overworld and save us some power. And I think I'm going to do that for now until we have a lot of power coming in from somewhere else. Manually refilling the honey generator is going to be annoying. And a little holding cage like this should be fine. I just have bees in here. They're tied down so they don't get out when I open the door. But as long as you have them in here, they'll grow up. And also because they can't get into a hive, over time, they will become meta-urnal because they're not allowed inside of their hives at night, even though they want to be. So if we just leave these bees like this, I think we're going to be fine. And if you remember last episode, I was talking about the bees taking random ticks of damage. I figured out that's tied to them being outside of their hive during non-ideal conditions for them. So for example, if you have them out during the night and they're only during the daytime bees, then they'll take ticks of damage from time to time. Same thing with the weather. If they're out when it's rainy, they'll take ticks of damage. So while you're going for meta-urnal bees, you're probably going to want to come back every once in a while and fill up their HP bar by giving them a honey treat, because otherwise you might be running the gambit a little bit. In case something happens to those guys, I'm going to keep the other two dying bees. We can always put them in the bee breeder again if we need more bees, just as a backup, in case things go horribly, horribly wrong. While we're waiting for those prismarine bees to get meta-urnal, I'm going to breed up some sugar bag bees, just so I'm doing something with my time. We got tons of honey right now. The wax that the honey generation produces can actually be useful as a fuel. I mean, we do have infinite charcoal, but I've got wax sitting around doing nothing right now, so why not use it? It gets you 45 seconds of burn time, which is not bad. Can I place this honey on the ground? Oh, I can. What? It deleted my honey! Oh. That's weird that placeable honey is a different color than the bucket. To no one's surprise, I got very tired of putting in honey manually very quickly, so I just put in the seed generator, I put in coal, and it powers this thing. It just ran out of coal. Okay, I put more coal in, so you can see this thing is powering up. It's eating up energy. It's not producing very much, but that's okay. I don't really need it to. This thing does chug through a lot of charcoal real quick, though. Yeah, that's an insane amount of charcoal use. I might not be able to use this either. This prismarine bee was only at 1 heart, but I just gave him a honey treat and he went back up to full. I'm going to do the same with this one, just in case. Bees are finicky creatures. This is a little bit of time later. We should have enough sugar bag bees now. And get ready, because it's about to get weird. So I made this contraption that is a dispenser, and a piston, and a bottler. Oh my goodness. As I was saying, we can put the bee into here, and then we press this button, the bee will spit out of the dispenser into this open area, and then the piston will, well, you're going to find out. And we get squashed bee material. Yep, this mod is very ethical, don't worry. And I made this centrifuge. You just put the squash bee material in the centrifuge, and a little bit later, ta-da! This is all the genes that were related to that sugar bag bee that we just squashed. And you can see right here, this is the one that we're looking for, the passive one. So now we have, I was doing a test run earlier, that's why I have 2. But we have a passive one that's 51%, passive one that's 45%, and the rest of these are just random stuff that I kind of don't care about. Oh look, that one's got meta-urnal. I guess the bees were out for long enough. So in a crafting table, you can combine 2 gene samples that are the same and make a stronger one. So I want to get 2 of these that are about 95% or higher. I'll see what these other ones give before I commit to anything. Sorry, friends. It's for science. Well, I only had to squish 5 of the bees, and I managed to get 2 passive 100% and a little bit of extra meta-urnal. That'll be helpful for some other bees if they're not quite there yet for whatever reason. And let's grab our other kamikaze bees. I'll try to do this one at a time so we don't kill any more than we have to. We're definitely going to need at least 4. Well, I managed to save 2 of the kamikaze bees, which is perfect. And if you look in this block that's called a gene indexer, it's basically a block for storing all of your genes. You see, I have 2 100% passives and 2 very high productivities. These prismarine bees in here should have the meta-urnal attribute as well by now, which means they have 3 of the 5 on them. So we just need a way to get these last 2 genes onto those guys. And the way that you do that is just combining them onto a honey treat. And you'll see it'll make a honey treat with a couple of genes on it. So we're going to take 2 of these, and I should now be able to stick this on this guy. There you go. He's fed, and I'll yoink him up, and we can look at him. Very high productivity, any weather tolerance. He's still diurnal. He did not get meta-urnal yet. Weird. But he's strong, and he has a passive temper. What about you? Are you meta-urnal yet? No, you're still diurnal. Well, diurnal means that they like the sunlight, so they probably just need to be out for a little bit longer. In any event, we'll put these sugar bag bees away. They are free to go. I'll keep an eye on these guys. As soon as they turn meta-urnal, then we'll have a perfect bee, which will be great. Until then, we can take care of some other stuff. While I was cleaning up that stuff, our 2 prismarine bees did get both meta-urnal. So now that we've got 2 super strong bees, let's talk about how we're going to get the copper bee. And this should be fairly straightforward. It's just a crystalline bee and an ashy mining bee, and we already have both of those in here somewhere. I just need to get him out of his hive somehow. Oh, there he is. Thank you, sir. Oh, and that got me an advancement. And here we are, just as promised. 1 crystalline bee and an ashy mining bee makes a copper bee. And I have 2 bee cages in there because I want at least 2 of them. The only issue is I need to power this thing, and the honey's not doing it. I tried this heat generator for mechanism, and this thing just requires so much power that the heat generator cannot keep up with it. I'm going to try and make this thermo generator from Powa. All it needs is like lava underneath of it or something like that. I played with the Powa mod a lot in the past, and what I can tell you about it is exceptionally resource hungry for the amount of power that it produces. It has a lot of high power options for later on in the mod pack, but it requires so many resources in order to use it. It's basically an end game only thing. Even making this basic generator, which is, it's 1 step up from starter. This basic generator is only capable of generating 320 FE per tick, and it already used up about a stack of redstone in and of itself. So right now I've got a little bit of lava underneath, and I've got a bucket of water in there, just 1 bucket for now to see if it works, and it is generating power. And it's all going to the breeding chamber, which is perfect. So now I just need a way to get water into this. So we have this block, which is a kitchen sink. And if I put one of the pipes from pipe Z on there and give it a little yoink with the wrench, the sink has infinite water, and it is very, very good at what it does. The pipe should be pumping it into here. I don't think it needs much water, so this is able to keep up just fine. So I set this thing to produce 2 copper bees. It already absorbed 1 of the lilacs for each, that's why. And it doesn't seem to be losing any power. We seem to be very, very constant. So this thing is running at max efficiency, which is awesome. And I don't have to sit here and pump anything manually. So I'd call that a win for now. I'll tell you what, this section over here is getting a little cluttered with random goodies, and I definitely want to make a building to put all this random junk in. I'm still not certain all the random junk that I want to put into a building, so I don't want to make a building quite yet. We probably have a couple more things we need to fit into a workshop, but I do need to clean that up pretty soon. Well, while I let these bees do their thing in there, I'm going to keep building. Okay, I'll stop. Alright, that time lapse was probably pretty lengthy, but I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. I just finished editing that thing down, and oh my gosh, it took me hours to edit everything down. So I'm telling you, full disclosure, we are getting a replay mod in here, or something to make doing these montages a little bit easier. Because I'd rather be playing Minecraft, but I sat here and added to this thing for 5 hours! I am in pain. Well, that's a problem for the future. For now, so this is our iron building. I only really cared about making the front section nice and tidy because I'm planning to have buildings on all sides of this, so the only facing outward section is the front. That's all I really care about, and I think it came out pretty nicely. You go to the interior, and you can see it's a pretty simple interior. I just went for the deep slate bricks all the way around on the bottom floor, and up top we have the sandstone. Again, we're leaving room for somebody to possibly live here. There's even room for a second floor if we really want to. I'm not going to worry about making that second floor, though. This is good enough for right now, and we'll come to it when we need. For the time being, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want this building to look like. Yes, I'm a ghost again. I wanted to start off in spectator mode so we can get a flyby of this building that I did around the Blaze Farm. I tried to make it pretty geometrically complex, just to make it interesting to look at, and I went for limestone on top. The back is a little bit flat because I'm planning on putting a building here. Also, these creepers have leprechaun hats. Maybe I'm recording this on March 15th. Maybe that's St. Patrick's Day because there's another creeper with it. There's a bunch. Maybe it's St. Patty's Day. They got something special going on in the pack. But this is what the building looks like, and it's a pretty nice looking building around this thing. And if we go inside, you'll see it's the blaze spawner that you saw from a couple episodes ago. They just spawn and they fall on top of these belts that are moving really, really fast. And they fall into this mob masher and die. And I've got a vacuum hopper right here to suck up everything and put it into these. These blazes only drop 5 things when they're killed with the mob masher. So I have them all 5 right here. And then anything extra that they drop for whatever reason get dumped into here, where there's just a chute into a fire. Pretty simple setup. So back to the task at hand. You see over here, we've got these skeleton bees. I decided to do the bone meal ones first because I need a lot of bone meal in order to keep doing the breeding. And you see, I got all 5 of them in there. All 5 of these bees, I had to go over, catch them individually. But they're all popping out of here right now. I've upgraded them all with the genetic stuff, so they should be superior bees. Yeah, you can see all of them have the best traits in here, which is really, really nice. These bees are just doing their thing. They're pollinating on top of that bone block, and they're making these, what are they, skeleton combs? Yeah, skeletal combs, and I guess a little bit of bones as well. But all that gets sent to the centrifuge, and that just gets pumped into these storage things. I'd like to upgrade these from the create belts. The create belts are cool, but they do get laggy if you use too many of them, so we're probably going to have to upgrade these to the Piped Z mod stuff. Since we're not going to really be looking at all of this isn't like a factory that I'm planning on making you can come in and check out, you know. This is just going to be something that's behind the scenes, and then we're just looking at a facade, with our iron contraption in there. And the Pipe Z mod has a bunch of things, items, fluids, energy pipes, and you can combine them into a universal pipe. This just takes a bunch of iron and some redstone, so it's not all too complicated. The upgrades are a different story, though. Those require a lot of stuff. Before I can put copper bees in the system, though, we have a couple of things that probably are going to be priority. First of all, I need a redstone bee because I'm running really low on redstone. Second off, I would like an obsidian bee because I need to make void upgrades for these things so I don't have to keep dumping them out. In order to make the void upgrades, you need obsidian, and I don't want to keep going mining obsidian because it's boring, and well, that's pretty much it, just because it's boring. The only weird thing about skeletal bees is that you can't breed them. I have to give each of them individually the 5-stat upgrades, which is pretty consuming on resources. If we're using a bee that can just breed amongst itself, then we only need 2 parents with the best stats, and then we can just breed all the children to have the best stats, and it's a lot better for resource consumption, but what are you going to do? Luckily, we'll be able to use that strategy for the redstone and the obsidian bee. I would be remiss if I didn't show off at least a little bit of the fruits of our labor, though. I'm just going to come over here, take a stack of bone meal, easy peasy, and come over here to our too tall pink, whatever this one is, lilacs, and get a stack of this stuff. And with my stack of lilacs, we just put both of these in here, and we can keep breeding for a whole lot longer. Now that's convenience. I squashed down a whole load of bees, just a whole load of them. This chest is full of squash bee material. And inside the gene indexer, I've got a lot of genes in here. I actually need to clear this out or I'll start wasting them. But before we do that, I want to go over the types of bees that we're going to want. And this is all the bees that correspond to vanilla resources. This is everything we're going to need. Unfortunately for the netherite, I need to get a block of netherite in order to do that. So that's going to be a little difficult. For the rest of these, they're pretty standard. You'll notice there's an experience bee that I probably spelled wrong. And that makes liquid experience. But the rest of them are pretty straightforward. We shouldn't run into any real issues quite yet. And a few moments later, all of that bee material is squashed down. I had to yoink out all the blue so I'd have enough space. And there's a neat little trick that you can do with this thing, where if you give it a redstone signal, it'll just automatically combine all the genes of a similar type. It won't be smart about it, like it might combine a 99% with something else, just to get it up to 100, but it'll try and get every single gene up to 100 that it can. We're going to be employing that tactic later on. For right now, I don't have that automated, so I'm not going to worry about it. But we are going to be automating this system pretty soon, because this is something that I'm going to be using quite a lot, and I don't want to keep manually doing it. So this might be one of the last times that I manually do it. We'll see. Remember last episode we went on this big bee hunt? Well, this is where it really pays off, because I want to get emerald bees. I only have 10 left in my system, but in order to make emerald bees, you need to breed a slimy bee and a diamond bee. And a diamond bee is bred from a lapis bee and an ender bee. The lapis bee is from blue banded and redstone. The redstone is from glowing and chocolate. You can see all these bees are interconnected in some breeding schema, so you basically need all of them if you want to do anything. Otherwise, you're going to spend all your time going back and forth hunting them and whatnot. I'm actually going to get the obsidian bee next, which is the sweet bee and the magmatic bee. Put 2 of those in there. And we'll upgrade our copper bee like so. Oh, come back. There we go. Now we have 2 super copper bees. Hello, my cows. Have some glass shards. There you go. Play with that a little bit. At this point, I'm kind of stuck waiting for a lot of bee breeding. Like, I need 5 copper bees, so I need to breed these guys twice. I need to get obsidian bees and get all the other variants of bees. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. I can't really automate it either. I kind of have to just sit here the whole time. There is one thing we could do, which is the speed upgrades. You can put these inside of your machine and it makes it a lot faster. The problem is it requires a lot of emeralds. The emeralds are at the last part of the chain, and I don't have enough to make any more upgrades. There may be one thing we can do to get emeralds faster. Oh, don't mind me just looking around, just having a peek. What you got in here, bud? You guys got any emeralds you ain't using? This is the most unorganized chests I have ever seen in my life. Oh, this one's actually pretty well organized. 31! Oh, we're gonna give them back. Don't worry. Just, we'll give them back, some time in the future, Interest and all that. It's fine. They took my iron a bunch. Alright, 4 speed upgrades in this thing. What are the chances that we can actually keep up with power with this one power generator? Wow, really? I did not expect that. Wow, I really did not expect us to be able to keep up with power. That's incredible. And we need to honey treat our new obsidian bees. Oh, they're still children. Oh. That makes things weird. Well, I don't want to use that Bobby incubator because that uses a lot of the honey treats, and my current growing up grounds is filled with bees already. So we're just going to tie them over here and let them do their thing. When they grow up, we'll continue on with something, I guess. And now we are using the glowing bee and the chocolate mining bee to make the redstone bee. I'll start with 2 of those guys. Well, our bees here on the side are all done. I'm just going to yoink them up real quick. We got all 5 of our copper bees right here next to our skeletal bees. I should just be able to plunk them down like so. I'm going to stand here so they can't get out. Oh, no, you stay in there. All of our copper bees are now migrating into this nest one by one. That guy's escaping. But I think you guys get the picture. I'm going to be doing a lot of bee breeding. I'm going to be setting up a lot of these hives just because it's repetitive work. You guys don't really need to see that. So I will come back when I have something more to report, but that's probably going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you're excited for another round of bees. Bye. Hello.